Hi everyone, I'm Misa. Today I'm going to present our workbook summary of chapter 4 and the chapter is about the internal structure of words and processes of word formation and there are some subheadings. The first one is defining the word, the second one is morphemes, and the third one is process of word formation, and the last one is idioms. We analyze them in progress in time, and the chapter first introduces the criteria used for distinguishing a word from a phrase. Then the chapter introduces allomorphs of morphemes, and the writing of morphemic rule is expressed. And the next section of the chapter explores the different process of word formation in English. If you are ready, let's start with the first subheading, defining the words. We move now from an examination of the smallest elements of language, sounds, to larger units, words. We all have an intuitive feel for the words of language, and we think abruptly of the written word, but even non-literate speakers can separate the speech chain into words. Thus, there must be some formal criteria for words which all speakers use. These might be miscellaneous kinds. And first one is orthographic. A word is what occurs between spaces in writing. Second, semantic. A word has semantic coherence. It expresses a unified semantic concept. Third, phonological. A potential pause. A word happens between potential pauses in speaking, though in normal speech, we mostly do not pause. We may potentially pause between words, but in the middle of the words. We stress a word spoken in isolation has one and only one primary stress. The fourth, morphological. A word has an internal cohesion and is indivisible by other units. A word may be changed only externally by the addition of suffix and prefix. And the fifth, grammatical. Words fall into particular specific classes. And the other one, syntactic. A word has external distribution or mobility. It's moved as a unit, not in parts. Let's move. And the other one, morphemes. Morphemes, we should start by identifying the morpheme. This morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit in a language. The morpheme is not necessarily equivalent to a word, but maybe a smaller unit. For example, the word unkindly consists of the three morphemes, kind, and ly. And a morpheme has characteristics. It's internally indivisible. It cannot be further subdivided or analyzed into smaller meaningful units. It has internal stability since nothing can be interposed in a morpheme. It's externally transportable. It has positional mobility or free distribution occurring in various contexts. Let's move. And there are types of morphemes. There are a number of types of morphemes. First one, lexical morphemes express lexical or dictionary meaning, conventional meaning. They can be categorized, divided into the major lexical categories or word classes: noun, verb, adjective, or adverb. These are frequently called named content words. They constitute open category to which new members can be added. Lexical morphemes are generally independent words, free roots or parts of words, derivational affix and bound roots. And grammatical morphemes express a limited uh, number of very common meanings or explain relation within the sentence. They don't constitute open categories. They can be exhaustively listed. Grammatical morphemes may be parts of words, inflectional affix, or small but independent function words belonging to the minor word classes preposition, article, demonstrative, conjunction, auxiliary, and so on. Of the, that, and may. And let's move. We must also recognize the level of the morph, the concrete realization of a morpheme, or the actual segment, or word as it's spoken or pronounced. There are different types of morphs. The first one, a free morph, may stand alone as a word, while a bound morph may not. It must always be attached to another morph. A free morph is always a root. That is, it carries the principal lexical or grammatical meaning. And there is an example. An example of roots are underlined, unavoidably reclassified. The root is avoid in the first one, and this in the second one, the root is class. And roots are also occasionally bound morphs. These are called bound roots. Bound roots are often foreign borrowings that were free in the source language, but not free in English. For example, words, convert, reword, subword, word per word, and see, conceive, perceive, receive, receive, like that. Unlike a root, an affix does not carry the core central meaning. It's always bound to a root. English has two kinds of affix: prefix, which attach to beginning of roots, and suffix, which attach to end of roots. An affix may be two types, derivational or inflectional, which have very distinct characteristics. A derivational affix in English is either a prefix or suffix. An inflectional affix in English is always a suffix. And a derivational morphemes prefix, pre, non, until this suffix is in every aid. And inflectional morphemes modify a noun as or es, and modify an adjective er, est, and modify a verb ed, ing, and en. Let's move. Allomorphs, just as phonemes have predictable variants called allophones, morphemes have predictable variants named allomorphs. Allomorphs are the members of the class morpheme or the phonetic realization of the abstraction morpheme. Allomorphs are semantically similar, alike, and in complementary distribution. And they needn't be phonologically similar, however. Allomorphs are predicted or conditioned in one of three ways. First one, the appearance of a particular allomorph is predictable from the phonetic environment, therefore phonologically conditioned. The second one, the appearance is unpredictable phonologically, but it's determined identified by the grammar of the language, hence grammatically conditioned. And the other one, third one, the allomorphs are used interchangeably in all environments, hence in free variation. And there's a table you can look into. this table. And the other having process of word formation. English has a number of means by which morphs combine or are altered to form new words. However, only two of these processes of word creation, derivation, and compounding are responsible for significant numbers of new words. And the other one, derivation, the addition of a word-forming affix is called derivation. In English, derivational affixes are either prefix or suffix. Their productivity may change from very limited to widely extensive, resting whether they are maintained in just a few words and no longer used to create new words, or whether they are found in many words and still used to create new words. And productive suffix is the th in warmth, wet, depth, or wealth, whereas an example of a productive suffix is the able in available, unthinkable, admirable, or honorable. Let's move the other one, reduplication. And reduplication is a process similar to derivation in which the initial syllable or the entire word is dubbed exactly or with a slight phonological change. Reduplication is not a common or regular process of word formation in English, though it may be in other language. And three different kinds of reduplication can be identified. First one, exact reduplication. Papa, mama, good, so, hush, hush, never, never, 50, hush, hush, like that. And the second, ablaut reduplication, in which the vowel alternates chains while the consonants are identical, crisscross, zigzag, flip-flop, mishmash, wishy-washy, click-clop, riff-raff, etchy-breaky. And the last one, rim reduplication, in which the consonants change while the vowel maintain the same. Hodgepodge, fuddy-duddy, razzle-dazzle, buggy-wuggy, nitty-gritty, and you can see these examples. And compounds, the compound is the combination of two or more free words. Both compounds and phrases may explain semantically cohesive notions. And compare shipyard and automobile assembly plant. The meanings of compound and the phrase might be considered, might be think equally unified. Both the semantics and the syntax of compounds are complex. Often the semantics of compounds are not just the sum of the meaning of the parts. That is, if we know the meanings of two words, we cannot necessarily predict the meaning of the compound, as in firearm, highball, makeup, or henna. Let's move. The other one, blends. A blend includes two processes of word formation, compounding and clipping. Two free words are combined and blended usually by clipping off the end of the first word and the beginning of the second word, although sometimes one or the other morpheme is left intact. Pure. And there are some examples. Brunch, breakfast and lunch, clash, clap, clash, faction, fact, fiction. These are the combination of these words. And the other one, back formations. In back formation, speakers derive a morphologically simple word from a form which they analyze, look into, on basis of derivational and inflectional patterns existing in English as a morphologically complex word. There are some examples. To babysit from babysitter, to edit from editor, to lace from lace, like that, we can say. And the other one, root creations. The rarest form of the word formation is root creation. Uh, the invention of an utterly new root morpheme. Brand names are the most likely example of root creation. For example, Levi's, named for the inventor Levi Strauss. McDonald's, named for the original owners, Morris and Richard McDonald. And onomatopoeic words which in their pronunciation are imitative of animal sounds or other natural sounds, can presumably be created, reproduced at will as the need arises, though they are quietly conventionalized in language, particularly specific. Uh, and the other one, idioms. These idioms are not like free syntactic phrases which can be accounted for the syntactic and semantic rules for the grammar, but are rather more like single words. The question arises as to whether they should be treated in the morphological component of the grammar. That is, whether they should be treated as unanalyzable forms, for example, seems to be much less idiomatic than should the breeze in respect to its flexible internal modification. And there is the example, she put some important strings for him, they shout a little breeze day. Fronting on object, two strings he won't pull for you, the breeze we shot yesterday. And idioms, uh, we can introduce in detail idioms. An idiom is a sentence of words which function as a single unit. It's syntactically fixed and semantically conventionalized. Idioms have some characteristics. No or little variation is allowed in the words that constitute the phrase, so that you can say, for example, hold your station, bite the bird, shoot the wind, or spill the rice. Semantic of idiom are usually not predictable from the meaning of the individual words. This is what linguists call non-compositional. For example, you can't calculate the meaning of being sick or feeling ill from the meanings under and rather. The meaning of idioms is often thought to be metaphorical or proverbial. They are emotionally charged rather than literally meaning. Idioms are frequently quite colorful, and we analyze idioms in detail. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening.